What is going on, guys? David Braga back here. Going to take a look at some of the upcoming NCAA tournament games. We're going to be looking at the first four play-in games today. I'm just going to kind of talk about each of the teams just a little bit here. Let me pull it up on my computer. Coming up in about 40 minutes, we got Fairleigh Dickenson against Prairie View A&M. I know almost nothing about these two teams. So I do apologize to both of those teams. Both of them tipping off here on True TV. Fairleigh Dickenson, Prairie View at 5:40 here in about 40 minutes, and Temple Belmont later tonight at about 8 o'clock. Like I said, I know very little about really all four of these teams. I know a little bit more about Temple and Belmont. Fairleigh Dickenson won the Northeastern Conference, and Prairie View won the SWAC. I believe both of them won those conference tournaments, and that's how both of them got in. Fairleigh Dickenson, first in the Northeastern Conference with a 20-13 record. Prairie View first in the SWAC with a 22-12 record, though they did go 17-1. 17-1 in the conference after starting the season 1 and a whole lot of losses. They lost a whole bunch of non-conference games in a row. Their only conference loss was to Texas Southern, who finished second in the conference, and they lost it at Texas Southern by 5. So if I was looking to make this pick, I'd probably pick. I'm going to pick Prairie View A&M to win this game. I think it'll be close. I actually think this will be one of the better 16 versus 16 matchups, just from looking at it. Fairleigh Dickenson leading scorer Darnell Edge at 16 points a game. Prairie View's leading scorer Gary Blackston at 15 points a game. Prairie View does have 3 players over 10 points a game compared to Fairleigh Dickenson at 5 players over 10 points a game. So maybe a little bit more depth on Prairie View, averaging 75 points a game compared to Fairleigh Dickenson averaging just over 75 points a game. So a little bit more depth on Prairie View. A couple guys can come off the bench and score. A little bit more consistent top-to-bottom scoring as opposed to Fairleigh Dickenson, who gets 10 points from their 5 starters and then 8 points from Elijah Williams, who I assume is their kind of their first guy off the bench at 25 minutes a game. Looks like Fairleigh Dickenson plays about 6 guys every game, 6 guys at 25 minutes, the rest of them under 10 minutes a game, and Prairie View A&M has 3, 6, 9 guys that all play at least 11 minutes. So I think that'll give Prairie View A&M a little bit more of an advantage coming in to this first round game in Dayton. I'm gonna go with Prairie View over Fairleigh Dickenson in this one. I have no clue on what the score will be. If you guys disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'm sure the game will be over by the time you guys see this. But moving on to the next game, Temple and Belmont, the second game here in the first four tonight, like I said, at 8:10 p.m. Temple, of course, an at-large bid out of the American. They finished 4th in the conference at 23-9. Belmont also got an at-large bid after losing in the Ohio Valley Conference tournament to Murray State. Murray State, of course, got a 12 seed. They play Marquette with John Morant, of course, the star freshman at Murray State. So that'll be a team to look out for. I believe they play Marquette in the first round, who has also got one of the better players in the tournament. We'll talk about that when we get there. Tomorrow I'll be talking about those games. Probably. Don't know exactly when. Right now, Belmont, Temple. Temple went 23-9, finished 3rd in the American. Belmont went 26-5. They actually tied with Murray State for 1st in the conference. Murray State was 1 game better. Belmont went 26-5. Temple 23-9. Belmont was kind of one of the controversial last 4 in, first 4 out, kind of one of those bubble teams. I think the committee was right in putting them in. Where I think they went wrong in putting teams in is actually in tomorrow's games. In the second second day of the first four with St. John's and Arizona State. I would have put in TCU and I forget the other team. TCU and either Florida Gulf Coast, University of North Carolina, Greensboro. I think very easily could have gotten a spot. And also, I forget what the other team was, but I thought Arizona State especially, they had their chance in the Pac-12, and frankly, they just weren't that great in the Pac-12. And so, yeah, I'm looking at it. Arizona State. NC State. NC State was a team that I would have had in instead of them. I'll go ahead and shut the door there. Dogs whining outside. But yeah, I'll talk about those teams later. Temple, leading scorer is Shiz Alston Jr. at 19.7. Belmont's leading scorer, Dylan Windler, at 21.4 a game. The winner of this game will go on to play Maryland, and I actually think the winner of this game beats Maryland in the second round, but we're going to call it the first round. I do like Temple. I think they do play in the better conference. I think the American is just better than the Ohio Valley. However, I am going to go with Belmont on this one. I think Belmont has something to prove in this game. I think Temple was, they were a bubble team, but I thought that Temple was pretty much in. Belmont was more of the, are we going to put in a mid-major team or are we going to put in a Power 6 team? And so I think Belmont's got something to prove. I think they're going to come out and they're going to kick some butt. I think they'll beat Temple, and I think they'll actually move on to beat Maryland also. So I think Belmont's going to win this game. They've got 3 guys that average 14 or more. Temple's got 2 guys that average 14 or more. Temple at 74.8 points a game. Belmont all the way up at 87 points per game. Belmont a very, very high-powered offense by the looks of it. They've also got a bunch of really good three-point shooters. Dylan Windler, the leading scorer, at 43%. And Nick Muzinski at 38%. Both of those guys averaging, or Nick averaging about 15 points a game, and Dylan at 21 points a game. I think Belmont gets it done tonight. So 2 winners tonight, Fairleigh Dickenson and Prairie View. I like Prairie View to take that. To take this game, I just think that they have a bit more depth to come in. They have a couple more guys that they can rotate in, and that'll give them a huge advantage. And I like Belmont over Temple in the second later game. Excuse me. So those are the 2 games tonight. I like Prairie View, A&M, and Belmont. If you disagree with me, leave a comment down below. I'm not going to count these towards my full bracket. I will show you guys the full bracket on Thursday morning, right before all of those awesome first-round games kick off. Louisville, Minnesota, the first game on Thursday at 11:15 a.m. I will be sure I have that up prior to that game going up, so you guys know I'm not cheating, and I be sure to post that tonight. I like Prairie View and Belmont to take the first 4 games, or first 2 play-in games. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow to talk about the other 2 games, and as well as the first round game. So I will see you guys tomorrow.